Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We unlock Blue Baby. What an exciting experience. All the other babies are pink-ish. Well, that's not true. Some of the, like, Apollyon is gray. The Lost is, like, mega white. Oh, we just had a subscription. Press that Twitch Prime button. Blue Baby's blue. Azazel is black. We just got, like, there's a lot of diversity here. 61QQ, WVAA, Blue Baby. WVAA. West Virginia, Alcoholics Anonymous. You thought I was going to make a joke, but actually I'm going to take this time to highlight a serious issue plaguing, I can't think of a single city in West Virginia. Hear me out here, West Virginia. Westminster, be the town of the big. That's a different place altogether. West Virginia's #1 city is Chesapeake. Chesapeake? I'm sorry, West Virginians. I'm trying here. Give me a second. West Virginia cities by population. Charleston! Of course. This is the classic way you always remember it. Charleston, Morgantown, Huntington, Wheeling, Beckley, Martinsburg, and Parkersburg, Clarksburg and Fairmont, and Harpers Ferry, Bluefield, and Elkins, and Charlestown, and Princeton. You know, everybody should know this. And of course, the state bird is a northern cardinal. Are you telling me that West Virginia has a city called Charleston and a city called Charlestown? This is why I can never take people seriously when they complain about me mispronouncing like something from their hometown. Well, this is quite the surprise, isn't it? Obviously, we'll take this. Can we can exit without dying, for certain. Shouldn't have done that. Deal with the devil. Leave. It was worth a try. In the sense that it wasn't worth it at all, but like we got Brimstone 9 lives out of this floor regardless, so it's pretty sick. Anyway, what the heck was I even talking about? I recognize that we in Canada, we have our own weird names for things. Like, we have a lot of weird ones. Moose Factory. Thunder Bay. This is where I say that something is weird and then someone comes in and tells me that actually it's like a incredibly, you know, sacred Native American word. But anyway, First Nations, Aboriginal. Trina, Jennifer Lopez, 4 kids, and I gotta take all their bad axes to showbiz. We have anything here? Nothing here. There's apparently a town in Newfoundland called Dildo. Get that mouse pointer off that screen. These are weird names. I still think Moose Factory is the weirdest for sure, but... Got a lot of stuff named after England as well. There's a London, Ontario. There's a York. There's a North York. There's a Yorkdale Mall. I can't think of any other English city names. There's probably a Wales somewhere. I don't know. Camden. And I ain't talking about New Jersey. I don't even know where I'm going with this. If I had to do a power ranking of American states, though, and I'd like to do it because I don't shy away from offending, apparently, like 80% of my audience base. I'm just going to tell you right now, from a Canadian perspective, here's some top-tier states. In no particular order. S-tier states, Washington State. Big ups, Seattle. I like you. Culturally very similar to... in fact, Washington State is more culturally similar to Vancouver than our adjacent province, Alberta. California. A lot of people got bad words for California. I got nothing but nice things to say. I hate Los Angeles. San Francisco is pretty cool. And I hear that, you know, Northern California is pretty awesome as well. New York State. How could I refuse? Can't forget about a New York state of mind. Like California, a great tradition in the hip-hop industry, which is obviously a huge criteria for me as a hip-hop enthusiast of the highest magnitude. Have you guys heard of this guy, Vanilla Ice? Ooh, we got some heat protect, but also attack. Let's blow this guy up. Come on. Give me money, please. Plus, most populous city in Canada or the U.S., New York City, in case you were confused. I wasn't talking about Rochester, Utica, Syracuse, other cities in upstate New York that I'm starting to struggle to remember the name of. Where's Bolt Castle? That's near Rochester, I think. But I'm stalling. Yeah, we'll take compost. Let's do it. To other top tier states. You know what? I'm going to give it to Texas. Here's the deal. I don't necessarily agree with all Texan ideals, but I accept that Texas is a surprisingly diverse state. Cultural hubs like Austin, San Antonio, huge city in Houston, Dallas, big city as well. It's a cosmopolitan place. I respect that you got your own thing going on. I respect that part of the Texas identity is that, you know, you're Texan before you're American. That's kind of cool. Again, not, you know, 100% necessarily on my list of places to live, but I respect that nonetheless, and I think you got to give them any state that could reasonably secede, and you would probably roll your eyes, but just be like, well, if anybody's going to do it, that makes sense. I'll give it to you. Though I think if I'm going to preserve the S tier as being, you know, very special, those are my 3 states. New York, 4 states. New York, California, Washington State, and Texas. Congratulations. Those are my S tier states. I'm not going to go through every American state. That's just ridiculous. But I think if we're going to go A tier, you got to throw Hawaii in there. You know, not quite S tier because I think it's predominantly, you know, for most people, it's a place you go for tourism, not necessarily to live, although maybe it's a dream location for some people. I'd throw Oregon in there. Again, culturally similar to the West Coast. Obviously, I got my own personal bias in there. I mean, it is the West Coast, so I like Portland. I played Magic the Gathering there once. It was a relatively fun time. I like your barcade and craft beer scene. Take Tractor Beam. It's a really nice tiers upgrade, actually. I'll tell you what. I'll get all of the eastern states that have robust economies, or at least large populations that I'm unfamiliar with. Let's throw them in here. Illinois, get in here, Illinois. You got Chicago. I've never been, but I've heard things. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. I hope you're not out there going, NL, please name my state. I'll give you one for Ohio. Cincinnati, Cleveland. You got a couple of big cities in there. If we're getting down into like... I'm just going to avoid offending as many people as possible. Okay, we're going to start with this, I think, and then see. We're going to die. That takes us to 6 lives. And then we bust through here again, and then we take this so we can fly. We're a little light on HP, but this is like, we're in a great spot in terms of, like, damage, without a doubt. I'm going to just say it. F-tier state, Delaware. I know, if you live in Delaware, you're like, that's not fair. We're the first state. You know? Take it from me. I grew up in a city, and our claim to fame, there are 2 claims to fame. One is biggest mall between Toronto and Montreal. Second, we were the first capital of Canada, back when there were like, you know, 4 provinces, and we were worried about the Americans invading. Some things never change. What do you got? Friends to the end. Puberty. Closing in on an HP upgrade that's going to be a Spirit Heart and thus relatively meaningless, but still, we got to explore here. It's a bad look. I'm just gonna own up to it, you know? Same thing. People would be like, oh, you grew up in Kingston. It's so small. And I'd be like, hey, we've got the biggest mall between Toronto and Montreal. If you were... Sometimes we get mid-tier artists that play concerts in Toronto and Montreal and then do a stopover in Kingston for a little bit. But they're like, hey, if we're here, we might as well make some money. That ain't so bad. And you know what? It ain't so bad. You get a little bit of the cultural runoff. I liked it. I'm proud of where I grew up. I like the town. But Delaware, you got to take it from me. Probably the most forgotten American state in the Sporkle quizzes of Can You Name 50 American States, right? I'm throwing it out there. There's a couple other ones I got to give it to. You know what? I'm going to elevate you from Z tier to F tier, Rhode Island. Because I hear that Providence, Rhode Island has fantastic pizza. So you're lucky. Were it not for the pizza... You know what? I'm going to take you down to the Z tier because I just remembered that Family Guy's set there. So I'm sorry, you know. I'm sure you're like, yeah, we get it a lot. 25 cents. You know what? I'm willing to take a gamble on this. We're playing with fire at this point, Kevin Federline style. Why Rhode Island? Well, it's not that I got anything against you. It's just, you know, why does your island get to be a state? You're the only state. It's not called Hawaii Island. It's not called Floridian Peninsula. But Rhode Island apparently gets to have island in its name without ever, you know, facing repercussions for it. I don't buy it. That's why you're in the Z tier. But, you know, Providence, if you secede, the world's your oyster as far as I'm concerned. I just want to point out, in case it's not abundantly clear, all of this is tongue-in-cheek. Except for Delaware, I feel for you, but... New Hampshire? Come on. New Hampshire, Maine... Just become part of Massachusetts. I don't even know if you're next to Massachusetts, I just know you're in the general vicinity. Just, you know, forsake your own individual identity for the sake of someone from abroad being able to understand American geography that much better. You know, you could say, oh, America, we got 50 states. But really? Oh, I'm a little scared here. You could cut a couple of those out without it being like a big deal, right? I'm not saying cut them out like eliminate the people who live there. I'm just saying, you know, why not merge? Like, say what you will about Canada. There's only a couple of parts of the country where if you were going through as like, if a hoarding expert came through, they would be like, okay, come on. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, get together, you guys. Like, you're gonna become one and the same. No, nothing but respect for my folks down in the Maritimes. I understand you've got unique cultural identities. I'm just saying from a broad map-building perspective, it causes a little bit of a cumbersomeness, which is not an expression. But you get the idea, right? Ontario, huge. Quebec, huge, very culturally unique, is the way that I'm going to phrase that. I've been to Quebec many times. I like it. It's definitely its own unique area within Canada, which is cool. Manitoba, enormous. Saskatchewan, rectangular, also pretty enormous. Alberta, enormous, culturally unique. Dude, we have so many spiders. I'm loving life. So we want to kill things as quickly as possible without using flies and spiders, and then we're doubling our flies and spiders. Is this correct? Like, I don't even want to fight these guys. I'd rather just leave after getting all the stuff that we can get to try to keep our spider game as high as it can be. British Columbia, obviously huge. That's probably not the way that you should evaluate this stuff. I can't believe we're 12 minutes into this video. I'm still talking about this. But I mean, look at, we got Brimstone, 9 lives. Lots of great items. Compost is, you know, it's raising a Tomb of the Spider Queen army for me. That's a reference to Heroes of the Storm. I'm sorry. Heroes of the Storm is in like a can't-win situation, man. First off, I know it's true because as soon as I brought this up, I felt a collective eye roll from the audience. But for people who like MOBAs, a lot of the... Oh, I should have picked that up, obviously. A lot of the time they look at Heroes of the Storm and go, it's a baby MOBA. I find this sentiment very strange to me because I don't understand what the problem is with playing a casualized version of a video game genre that's still pretty hardcore. Like, what percentage of Dota players go pro? Like, 0.001%? 1 in 100,000, maybe? It's not like I play video games to trick my brain into thinking that I'm accomplishing things without actually accomplishing them. And Heroes of the Storm allows me to accomplish that faster. So I don't feel like there's any noteworthy snobbiness that makes any sense there, but I digress. I'm not insulting Dota either, a game that I have, you know, more hours in than I'd like to admit. Probably, no, I definitely have more hours in Rebirth. I checked the other day, I have 2,200 hours in Rebirth. Almost 100 real-time days. That's a frightening stat. But, I mean, it is also, like, basically my job, so I accept that as well. Anyway, the point is, I hate sauerkraut. Now, the point is, then the other thing is people who don't like MOBAs just look at it and they see a MOBA, which is actually way more fair than the alternative criticism. But, so you can't really win with Heroes of the Storm, but I like it. I've been having fun with it. And I think that's the important thing. As soon as I stop having fun with it, as soon as I feel the MOBA salt creep in, I'm like, that's it for me today. I think it's like, you have to, people with a personality like mine have to treat, I want to, I don't think I should, unfortunately. You have to treat MOBA like, you know, like a recovering alcoholic treats alcohol. Which, I mean, I actually don't know anything about. I'm assuming that abstinence is probably the preferred course of action there, which doesn't fit with my point whatsoever. But, you know, as soon as you start to feel yourself relapsing into MOBA salt, and it comes for everyone. I have never met anybody that played a MOBA that wasn't frustrated by it. As soon as you feel that MOBA salt coming back, which usually happens, I would say, around loss number 2 for me right now, I'm like, I'm done. It's like being in a casino. I'm like, it's really fun. Until, well, I don't even like being in the casino, but unless it's in Tower Unite, of course. As soon as I feel that MOBA salt come in, you know, life's too short. When I was 24, playing a lot of Dota, getting that MOBA salt, it felt okay. I was like, this is my leisure time. No one can tell me I can't hate my leisure time. Now I'm like, dude, everybody's gonna die someday. I don't know if I want to be on my deathbed being like, I spent 100 hours being cheesed off at Heroes of the Storm. But anyway, I digress. Still think it's a good game. A game that does a very good job of curtailing the MOBA salt. Because losing, I mean, I've had like 9-minute losses. That's perfect for me. If you can get that salty over a video game in 9 minutes, you gotta take a deep look inwards, I think, is the thing. Plus, I don't play Hero League. Anyway, we don't need to talk about this. I still, to this day, do not really understand how compost works. But I think if there's no consumables, it doubles the amount of flies and spiders you have. And if there's consumables, it turns the flies and spiders... Or it turns the consumables into flies and spiders. So, I mean, there's nothing to offer in my own defense right now. The run is really good. However... it's not great from a damage standpoint, which is not allowing me to keep my fly and spider economy in the place I'd like it to be in. Our damage does get better with money equals power. I've been spending. There was a time where I had like 40-something cents on this run, so I'm not going to deny I've been a little spendy-bendy, but I do have Steam sale as well, so hopefully we'll find an opportunity to get that money back. And if we can get a lot of HP... I didn't take Gimpy, so that's gonna hold us back, but our luck is not great either. If I get enough HP, which, a great start, thank you, I might consider giving the Hush a try. We don't have any keys. I might consider giving the Hush a try for the first time on this save file. And, you know, this is... The benefit of having a new save file is I'm sort of excited to fight the Hush. That hasn't happened in a long time. Okay, not health down. Speed up. Lovely. Shouldn't have even taken it yet, but... I mean, there's some temptation here. I won't deny it, but I think we just blow him up, hopefully get some money. Alright. What do we get here? I think it comes down to experimental treatment or outbreak, and I'm gonna go outbreak. And to be honest with you, it's not even that close. If I had more syringes, I would give the time of day to experimental treatment, but with no syringes, I think it's just a little too risky. So I fully intend, well, intend is the wrong word. I fully expect to lose, like, all of our flies over the course of this, all of our flies and spiders. The more the merrier, but don't have high hopes for that. But all we gotta do, you know, this is not about our own personal enjoyment to some extent right now. This is all about knocking this off the to-do list. Not so we never have to do it again, but so it's done and we can get the unlock, basically. Because, you know, boss rush is something that I mostly enjoy doing. This should not be the most difficult boss rush of all time. It's just gonna be, I mean, save that for the keeper boss rush that's inevitably gonna happen here at some point, but, it should be a situation where we want to pay attention to what's going on around us, because, like, for example, maybe try not running into those enemies, because every time you do that, you're just setting yourself... Yeah, see, like, the problem is, can't take that much damage right now. That time you just walked right into it. Well, it's actually... If we fail boss rush, we don't fail the run, which is a nice kind of safety net to have. Plus, I do feel like boss rush has been sort of shorter. I don't know if it's because we have less bosses unlocked or whatever, but I feel like we've been getting a lot less waves. But maybe just my waves have been so good so far. And I mean, I'm just making something up that someone in chat might say at this point, but it's good for the bit. Will you rate Canadian provinces? No, you see, I can rank American states because I'm largely ignorant and going almost exclusively off of my own bias and prejudices. And that means that I have a level of plausible deniability. If I start rating Canadian provinces, it's going to get too real. You know, I support you no matter where you are in this country. There are some provinces I love. I love British Columbia. I like Ontario. There's some provinces I wouldn't say that I'm not fond of, but some provinces that I personally would not necessarily be the #1 person to live there, I think. Like, I don't know if I would fit in Alberta. I know it's a cosmopolitan place, just like Texas, but I don't know if I fit the Albertan mold. I fit the British Columbia mold, because I'm like a begrudging hipster. Although I don't ski much, at least. If I skied more, I'd fit the mold 100%. I would just be the mold. I thought there was... Oh, it's just this guy. No big deal. We should have, like, 3 waves left. Plus, the other thing is, I can rank American states, and even people from outside of America will be like... I know, you know, I get an image in my mind when you say Texas. I get an image in my mind when you say Carolina. I get no image in my mind when you say Delaware, and thus I agree with you. NL, why do you hate Delaware so much? I don't know. Why don't you... I was going to make a terrible pun with the name of the capital city of Delaware, which is Dover. You can fill in the blanks for yourself. But then I thought better of it at the last possible moment. Hey, I'm gonna need you to be the final wave, please. How about you? Pin's no biggie. You might be watching this run thinking that I'm playing like garbage. Ooh. And I don't even necessarily think you're wrong. I don't think I've played as well as I could have. However, have we gotten a single damage upgrade over the course of this whole freaking run? I don't believe so. Money equals power, sure, but that's a little indirect. And that one, I just couldn't see him and I made a misplay. That's on me. Oh well. Okay, I'll take a free contract from below. Still got 1 life left. That's a bummer. I don't think we're gonna fight Hush either, but if we get we've already gotten a little bit unlocked on this run. Let's try to get some more. Slightly bummed out. The reality of the situation is we probably didn't need to take every deal with the devil as it showed up. The other bummer is we blew through our whole stake of flies and spiders, which could have been a big competitive advantage for us moving forward here, but, you know, we'll just have to rebuild. I give Bob's Brain very little credit for destroying us here. I think, you know, I gotta own up to that responsibility myself. Okay, it's looking alright here. We should be picking up coins, but also getting a fly for a coin seems like a pretty solid deal. And this is what I was hoping for, is like compost 9-volt would just be disgustingly good. It seems pretty great. Good pills, please. Speed down. Not that bad. 48-hour energy. Well, we know what everything else is. Health up, we'll take. Two range downs and a fool card. I think we just double. Grab this. Again, I don't know if this is doubling, but add some, I guess, is a better way to describe it. And then we'll take the Fool card with us. We could have converted everything in there, but I kind of want the Fool card. Could give me a free curse room, basically. And not necessarily expecting, like, mad guppy payouts, but whatever we can get in a curse room that actually provides us with some benefit is okay in my books. And remember, we got a 100% deal with the devil chance, so... Alright, so we're gonna lose almost all of our spiders. Got a damage upgrade that may or may not work with Brimstone. And we're actually fairly dialed in right now. And we sort of have to be. Like, 5 damage, even with Brimstone, is not knocking it out of the ballpark at this point. So we're going to have the chance to do a Hush fight, but the odds of it, I would say, are fairly low. The odds of it being a good idea are fairly low at this point. Now, sometimes that can stop me, and sometimes it won't, but for now, I think it's gonna. Trying to pick up whatever money we can get as well. That's the other thing, I guess. If we go to the Hush fight, we're gonna spend money, which is gonna mill our damage and start to cost me even more than we've already cost ourselves here. Even Outbreak has not been like a 10 out of 10 for us. Dude, this is like super great, I think. Okay, just walk in here. Do this. We need to go back for the Fool card. Dude, there's too many batteries. I can't go anywhere without accidentally turning a battery into something that's not a battery. We really want the battery right now. So, like, compost. Compost. Nice little spider army, without a doubt. Okay, that's done. What's our card? It's another 48-hour energy. All right, use it, pop it. Again, I might be using this inefficiently. I'm still not the master of compost, although I do collect my organics and biodegradables and deposit them in the green bin. Told you, begrudging hipster. You know what? Caring about the planet doesn't make you a hipster. I refuse to buy into that notion because I think that just gives people an excuse to not recycle. Recycling is not a cultural or political decision. It's just putting things in the right place. I want to be a good influence on you. And I don't think I'm always innocent in that department. You know, I did say, hey, friends, stop sending me pictures of your kids. I don't care. But that's honesty to a fault, okay? You should recycle. You should eat off of not paper plates whenever possible. I'm not going to be the Twitch streamer, and it would be probably a mildly beneficial financial decision to do this, so know that I'm not doing this to be, you know, profit-seeking, I suppose, is the best word to use. I don't want to enable your poor life choices. I make poor life choices as well in certain departments. The last time I, like, deliberately got exercise was far too long ago for me to even want to admit it. Let's go down instead of going to the Hush fight. We got to get more unlocked here. But I want you to feel shame about that the same way I feel shame about that. Well, we unlocked It Lives. Does that mean we've unlocked Shoal and the Cathedral? Or, yeah, Shoal and the Cathedral? I don't know. We unlocked about 1 million things, though, so that's a start. Mama's Boy achieved? That's amazing. Thank you, Compost. I thought for sure we got hit down there, but I guess not. Because I think that, and, you know, this might sound ridiculous, I think shame can be a good motivator. I don't think it's necessarily the healthiest motivator, but I think it can be a good motivator. I think a healthy sense of shame can be important. You know, you ever see the show called Shameless? It's not a story about a man who's got his life together, is it? It's a story about a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. He's done it. He's done it and then been rebuked in the final hour. Excuse me? To be shameless is I think being shameless is to be insecure, to be honest with you. You've just opted out of trying at that point. And that's the sad thing. I want us to know deep down inside that we're trash human beings but can always be better. I mean, did you hear the rant about the cars recently? Anyway, not the cars, they're fine. I don't mind you coming rain, wasting all my time. I can't really do a good Cars impression, as you can tell. My best friend's girlfriend. That's not a good Rick Okachek. And she used to be mine. Okay, we should have looked at the card, but we're actually like, we should have looked at the cars first. We're actually relatively okay here now, after things looked pretty dicey. I'm not gonna even say that I've played badly through the back half of this run. You know, knowing now that we actually unlocked Mama's Boy, There's really no way we could have played better from a dodging standpoint, so just stack up a little extra HP here. And go for broke, I think. It's a lot of spiders. I do wish the spiders did a little bit more damage, but I guess they're just what I needed. I needed Circuit City. I guess they're just what I needed. I needed 5 batteries. Yeah, so please me. Alright. Okay, good stuff. We've done it. Great work, team. Kind of a scary run at times there, but a fun run nonetheless. Forget-Me-Now's been unlocked. The negative has appeared in the negative has appeared in the basement. How do we get the Polaroid? I'm losing it. It's all backwards. Hey, for now, though, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.